Soccer Night is sponsored by Middlesbrough, supporting the best in British football.
Soccer Night returns, with Manchester United on the verge of a return trip to Wembley. It's United against Middlesbrough for a place in the Middlesbrough League Cup final a month from now.
We can forget about the championship tonight. It's the semi-final, it's the second leg. It's one game away from Wembley. I think that's plenty for the players to think about.
Good evening. Soccer Night has come out of its midwinter hibernation. It's good to be back. And the same can be said of Liverpool this week. FA Cup semi-finalists and back in the transfer market again today. Following the success of Rob Jones, plucked from the 4th division, Graham Souness has gone and got himself another one. Lee Jones from Wrexham. Different sort of player though, an attacking type. Very, very quick. Scored the equaliser at West Ham in the FA Cup. Lee Jones, another from the North Wales production line. Well, a little over 12 months ago, this was the face of Kenny Dalglish. What a difference a year makes, not to mention a change of environment and one or two little hiccups of late. The North West boasts the country's top scorers. Tranmere's John Aldridge. Blackpool's Dave Bamber, over 60 goals between them already this season. So you'll be delighted to hear it's a typical Granada Soccer Night. North West football for North West fans. News and views and the best of the week's action from all around the region. Yes, it really is good to be back. And we start at Old Trafford. Manchester United and Middlesbrough just 90 minutes away from Wembley in the Middlesbourogh League Cup final, unless, of course, there's extra time or a replay. Ready and waiting, Brian Clough and Nottingham Forest. They came through in extra time of a really pulsating cup tie at White Hart Lane.
Terrific header there! Righty!
3 decades of Cloughie at Wembley. Forest, in fact, were the first winners of the Middlesbourogh League Cup. They also won it when it was the Littlewoods Cup, and they won it before the days of sponsorship. It's a tournament that's become synonymous with Brian. Manchester United have never won it, even though they had a perfect opportunity last season when their opponents were comparatively inexperienced. Mind you, isn't that the very essence of cup football? It's phase 2 of this season's second semi-final. Goalkeepers Peter Schmeichel and Stephen Pears were responsible for the stalemate at Ayresome Park. Now that makes United the favourites, but a word of caution, it was Borough who put Manchester City to the sword.
The back there for Kernahan, off the line and in the back of the net. Kernahan celebrates, but it was Wilkinson who got the final touch.
At a wet and windy Old Trafford tonight, match commentator Clive Tilsley.
When Manchester United reached the final of this competition last year, Lee Sharp was the hottest property in English football. A teenage international and a scorer in both legs of the League Cup semi-final against Leeds United. 12 months and 2 hernia operations later, and Sharp starts all over again tonight, only his second start of an anxious season. It's a Manchester United team without Mark Hughes, a man custom built for semi-finals. He's suspended, but another from the same mould, Steve Bruce, returns to the defence. The latest challenge to Ryan Giggs' prodigious talents is to lead the United attack with Lee Sharp wide on the left. Players like Steve Bruce aren't fully appreciated until they're missing. It's a fact that United have won only once in 7 weeks without him. Middlesbrough forced into one change from the first leg. Gary Parkinson is injured, so Manchester-born Curtis Fleming fills in at right back. 3 of Lenny Lawrence's promotion squad are cup-tied from this competition, so it'll be a relief to have Willie Falconer available again, albeit as a substitute. In charge tonight, the country's senior referee, John Martin, who is 50-something. Nice night for it. It's been persisting since 4 o'clock here. Not enough puddles to put the match in any doubt, though. Last week's first leg may have been goalless, but it was far from chanceless. A cracking cup tie, which could quite easily have ended 2-2 or 3-3. But all square, it's a sudden death semi-final now. The other one between Spurs and Forest was a classic 10 days ago. The prize is the same. Let's hope we get a match of the same calibre. Brian Robson forward. Headed away by Nicky Mohan and forward by Paul Ince. Mohan again for Middlesbrough. Here's Neil Webb. It was a feature of that other semi-final at White Hart Lane that the rain made the pitch very fast and made the match very exciting. It could be the same sort of surface tonight. Stephen Pears, who started his professional career with Manchester United, had 5 games for them early in 1985. Pallister beating Wilkinson to it. Foul by Irwin on Hendry. Free kick which Alan Kernigan, who took over the Middlesbrough captaincy from Tony Mowbray in November, will take. Hendry squeezed across the goal and Wilkinson with a header. Just over the crossbar from Paul Wilkinson, who caused Manchester United all manner of problems, particularly in the first half of the first leg. Hendry just managed to wriggle away from Irwin there, and Wilkinson stole a march on everybody else in the penalty area. Brian Robson. Fleming with the throw. Paul Wilkinson. Forced forward by Webb. This is the best of passes for Phillips, and he'll do well to keep the ball in. Caught in a bit of a cul-de-sac, but he's found a way out. But here's Paul Ince. Ryan Giggs. Free kick given to Manchester United. Ince fouled by Phillips. There was a hefty whack across the back of Paul Ince's ankle. Both Bruce and Pallister are forward. Pears makes a punch. Dennis Irwin on his left foot. Narrow squeak for Middlesbrough. Dennis Irwin, a right-footed left back. His left foot's got stronger and stronger the more he's played in that position. And there was evidence. That was a clean strike on the volley. No more than a couple of yards wide. Paul Parker. Back for McClare, cut out by Musto. One back by Paul Ince. Here's Neil Webb. Looking to feed Sharp again. Now he's stolen a march on Fleming this time. Lee Sharp's cross, a little bit too long for Brian McClare. Echoes from last season's semi-final then. Lee Sharp skinning his fullback for the first time. Fleming hoisted up for Wilkinson, who's not getting his own way in the air tonight. Robson. This is Nicky Mohan. Wilkinson down towards Slaven. Here's Giggs. Ince. Now Giggs is away from Phillips this time. Three waiting for the cross. Slipped in towards Robson. Threaded it through to Sharp. Little back heel, and it was Jamie Pollock. Last line of defence in front of Steve Pears, who made the crucial intervention. Lee Sharp's clever back heel almost unhinged Middlesbrough. It's ushered Bruce and Pallister forward from the back. Dennis Irwin. Flick from Giggs. Neil Webb. Blocked by Mohan and cleared by Wilkinson. Parker. Webb. Into McClare. It's Brian Robson. Set up by Steve Bruce. Brian Robson just leaning back and guiding his shot wide of the mark. Paul Ince. Brian Robson. Webb has made a run to his left. Kicks ahead of him. McClare. Now Webb. Now Lee Sharp. Real chance. 1-0. He's back. It could be Lee Sharp's League Cup semi-final again. Half an hour gone, and Lee Sharp signals his return to the big time with a big, big goal for Manchester United. The first of the semi-final. They always seem to have a man over here. Webb had space, and because he had space, Sharp had space, and didn't he make the most of it? What a good shot. Driven in with devilish accuracy by Lee Sharp. His first since the European semi-final last April against Legia Warsaw. He likes semi-finals. Irwin. McClare. Sharp. Irwin. Given away by Phillips to Parker. Now McClare. Parker has stayed forward. This is Robson. Left it for Webb. Oh, he just needed a touch from Brian Robson. Neil Webb can't believe that he didn't get a touch from Brian Robson. The United skipper was a whisker away. Any sort of contact would have made it very difficult for Steve Pears, but he didn't get any sort of contact. Instow for Webb. McClare. Where's the ball? Stuart Ripley knows the answer to that question. He is such a talent. Hendry, Wilkinson, space here for Pollard. 3 in support. Opening for Middlesbrough. Jamie Pollard. Well, he had men in support. He had the presence of mind to take the responsibility himself. But if he had his time over again, he might have looked for Wilkinson and Slaven, who were both well placed. Slaven letting Pollock know it. Sharp. McClare. Good play by Brian McClare. All the way, maybe. I think he was looking for the chip. I think he wanted just to lift that over Pears. Wasn't really the surface to try anything quite so delicate. Robson. Bruce. McClare. Inviting Robson to go forward, but Koenigan had other ideas. McClare penalised. His pass throw was a wee bit short, and to prevent Hendry reaching it, he reached out and grabbed his shirt. Wilkinson. Away by Pallister. Won again, though, by Wilkinson. Cleared by Parker this time. Paul Ince. Half-time. So far, so good for Manchester United's bid to avenge last season's defeat in the final. Alex Ferguson's been dealt a brand new trump card with a return to fitness and form of Lee Sharp, marked by the only goal of the half after half an hour. And halfway in the second leg, it's Manchester United 1, Middlesbrough 0. Middlesbrough have done most of their damage at Ayresome Park this season. They're still unbeaten there in the league, and only once since the war have they beaten Manchester United here at Old Trafford. That was in a League Cup tie in 1973. The sole goal scorer that night, not so well known, Malcolm Smith, the provider of the scoring pass, a young midfield player called Graham Souness. Borough, in fact, have managed just one goal in 8 visits to this ground since then. They need a goal tonight. Gary Pallister looking for Schmeichel, but finding only a Middlesbrough corner. Lenny Lawrence, who went to Wembley during his 9 years with Charlton Athletic in the Simod Cup final. But this is a rather taller order for his new charges tonight. Ripley's corner. Robson's header. Lee Sharp, only as far as Jamie Pollard. Offside flag up against Wilkinson. John Martin happy for play to continue. Jimmy Phillips. Robbie Mustoe. Jamie Pollock. Curtis Fleming tiptoeing forward. Slaven! Well, he was allowed the opportunity. And Bernie Slaven certainly has an eye for goal. He's been Middlesbrough's leading scorer of the last 5 seasons. It was a long-range header. Here goes Stuart Ripley. Parker trying to stick with him. Ripley is strong enough. Chance for Slaven! 5 minutes of the second half gone, and Middlesbrough are back in business. Bernie Slaven's equaliser starts a party behind Peter Schmeichel's goal. You can't allow him a sided goal. Full marks to Stuart Ripley, so strong, and the cross picked out by Slaven, who picked out the back of the net. Bernie Slaven's 14th goal of the season, the most precious in Middlesbrough's season so far. 1-1. Pallister. Webb. Parker. Kernigan just cutting it out. Alex Ferguson seeking a League Cup double. He has won the Scottish equivalent with Aberdeen. Paul Ince, Brian Robson, Lee Sharp. Not quite what he intended. He's got another chance though. Trying to play Dennis Irwin in. Brian McLaren trying to play Dennis Irwin in. Oh, good save by Pears. Cleared by Kernigan. Smart stop by the Middlesbrough goalkeeper. Dennis Irwin cutting through the Middlesbrough defence, bearing down on Pears, who made a really good save. Quickly down to his left. Fleming. Mustoe finding Wilkinson. Sharp getting it back. Mustoe's in there again. Ryan Giggs. Cleared by Kernigan. Wilkinson in pursuit. Pallister and Bruce with him. Gary Pallister sold Schmeichel short. Wilkinson managed to force it past the goalkeeper, but not far enough past the goalkeeper. And Pallister gets away with the back pass. It was courageous goalkeeping by Schmeichel. Paul Wilkinson was always third favourite there, but suddenly he came with a late run on the rails. Schmeichel made his own luck. McLaren tumbled by Pollock and unhappy about it. He was in full cry there, Brian McLaren. Pollock was always playing catch-up. Pollock's going to be shown a card. McClare had got goal side of Pollock, who grabbed him back, but there were other Middlesbrough defenders covering, and McClare was, strictly speaking, running away from goal. The jury's out. What's the verdict? It's yellow. Lee Sharp plays the ball. Dennis Irwin strikes it. It was dipping, but not quite enough. Really whips them in with his right foot, Dennis Irwin. A beaten finalist in this competition in each of the last 2 years. 2 years ago, of course, by Nottingham Forest with Oldham. He's trying to play it early for McClare. This is Phillips. Held off Robson. Unfairly. It was a Twickenham hand-off that by Jimmy Phillips. Giggs. Parker did well to retain possession. Giggs is wide of him. Sharp ahead of him. Onside. Sharp getting in the cross. Cut out by Proctor. Irwin for Pallister. He knew what he was doing. He's got it back from near Webb. United have got 5 forward here, but Proctor's back. Steve Bruce. Dennis Irwin. Pollock in the way this time. What a forceful young player Jamie Pollock is. Paul Parker. It's an infectious cup tie now, swinging one way and then the other. Ryan Giggs, great run. Paul Ince taking over, took a deflection, corner kick. Neil Webb had a little bit more space to his right. But Ince was making his own way under pressure. Steve Bruce forward for the back. Pallister's in there too. Lee Sharp's corner. Bruce got his head to the ball, and Pears had to make another save. And Brian McClare was in there sniffing. Steve Bruce is far from the tallest man in there, but he gets up so well. Between defenders, prized himself into a position to head it goalwards. Robson. Parker. Giggs. A bit short for Neil Webb. Falconer thought he should have had the throw. Ryan McClare. Almost pulled it back, and has done now for Ryan Giggs. Beautifully done. Great close control. Well, the cross didn't match the approach. And Steve Pears has been a match for just about everything Manchester United have thrown at him. Wilkinson centre off. Hendry trying to get to it. Schmeichel committed. Hendry goalwards. Off the line by Gary Pallister. Saves Manchester United's bacon with a dramatic goal line clearance from John Hendry. The gates of Wembley were opening wide for Middlesbrough then, but Gary Pallister got across in the nick of time to shut them in their face. What a way to treat your old teammates. Ryan Robson. Steve Bruce. Neil Webb. Manchester United trying to be patient. Parker. They've worked this well for Ryan Giggs. 3 in the penalty area. Sharp, the deepest, got his head to it. Paul Ince trying to knock it back for Neil Webb, but just beyond him. Mark Proctor emerges with the ball. Middlesbrough on a break. Bernie Slaven. Paul just wouldn't take him there. He just couldn't steady himself. Or summon up the power to beat Peter Schmeichel. Parker socks down round his ankles. It really is a cramped pitch, this, isn't it? Webb into Ince. Robson's arriving. Instead back to Webb. Tried to curl it! Almost caught Stephen Pears out. He just sneaked a yard or two off his line. But he backpedaled quickly to grab Neil Webb's cunning shot out of the Manchester Knight. Kernigan leading the breakout. Wilkinson. Pollock. Kernigan still forward. Space here for Bernie Slaven. Falconer, Kernigan, and Wilkinson in the box. It's Billy Falconer! Oh, Wilkinson was so much better placed. Falconer threw himself at it. He had no time to stop and look around him, but just look where Paul Wilkinson was beyond him. Middlesbrough have had the best two efforts of this final quarter, but Manchester United are still on terms, and Nottingham Forest are still waiting. Neil Webb, who has so many reasons for wanting to be there against them. Robson, Brian McClair, great chance! Well, he set himself so deliberately. Just tried to steer it with the outside of his right boot, but he looked as if he knew exactly what he was doing. Didn't catch it right. We are watching, Alex, don't worry. Neil Webb. Irwin's getting forward. Here's Dennis Irwin. Wasn't the best of passes from Webb. Irwin got it across of sorts, but it's a goal kick. And Dennis Irwin will have to go all the way back. Even Neil Webb's immaculate passing, suffering from the fatigue, the energy that's drained out of these players. On this clinging surface. 90 minutes is not enough. For the third time this season, a major Old Trafford Cup tie requires extra time. The Greek side, Panathinaikos, eventually folded here last October. Lee Sharp's goal equalised by Bernie Slaven. Southampton held out to win a shootout last month. Which way will Middlesbrough go? 1-1 after 90 minutes. The League Cup in all its various guises is the most notable absentee from the Old Trafford honours list. 6 semi-finals now. United lost the first 3. They were beaten in extra time by Liverpool at Wembley in 1983. Beaten there again last year by Sheffield Wednesday. They're getting closer and closer. They're not close enough yet this year. Overtime for Manchester United and Middlesbrough. As if their seasons haven't been long enough already. Brian Robson, Brian McClair, Paul Parker, Robson again. Firm header by Nicky Moen. John Henry. Bruce Betty Wilkinson to it. Wembley. Paul Wilkinson. Tackled by Parker at the cost of a Middlesbrough throw. Pallister. Hendry. Falconer waiting. Got his head to it. Good save by Schmeichel. Just managed to smuggle it away from Wilkinson. But how on earth did Willie Falconer from a standing start get so much power behind his header? And how on earth did Peter Schmeichel get to it? It's caught in possession by Falconer. Running into Robson, it's really crawling up. Corlins running to get involved. All very unseemly. It's easy to say it's unnecessary. but the stakes are so high. The players are so tired. And I hope that John Martin may just take that into account. Matching yellows. That's what it was all about. The referee is currently cautioning Willie Falconer. Away from the Hillsborough replay next Wednesday. And we really have had two epic League Cup semi-finals. It was difficult to believe that Manchester United and Middlesbrough could serve up anything quite as good as Forest and Spurs managed 10 days ago. But in a different way, this has been every bit the measure of it. It's not been the same kind of flowing football match, but it's been more of a semi-final. A classic slugging match. Neil Webb. McClare's there, so too's Robson. It's Giggs! That could be the one! First minute, the second period of extra time. 18-year-old Ryan Giggs comes of age in the League Cup semi-final. It was just instinctive. But when you've got so much natural talent, that kind of finishing comes as second nature. Robson threw himself in there to make it possible, and Giggs picked that one out. So close. They've all given everything. And Giggs still has more to give. Parker. Robson. Possession everything to Manchester United at the moment. Robbins back into Giggs. He's got McClare square of him. Brian McClare with a chance to win it. It was an heroic stop by Jimmy Phillips coming across. It wasn't the prettiest tackle of the night, but it's kept Middlesbrough's hopes alive. Giggs has to hang on because McClare's making his way back from an offside position. Robson. Giggs. Robson again. And Nicky Mohan back to Steve Pears. This was the chance that Giggs set up for McClare. And in came Phillips. Well, he didn't win the ball. I suppose you could call it shoulder to shoulder. Ryan McClare again. In towards Robbins. Pears just hasn't let anything slip away from him. Everything that he's got his hands on has stayed in his hands. But he couldn't get his hands on this man's volley, which still separates the two teams. Giggs' cross turned away this time. Robson looking for a back pass, which was ill-advised to say the least. But Manchester United can afford to look on the right side of life tonight. It's looking dark for Lenny Lawrence and Middlesbrough. They've contributed so much to this semi-final. Alex Ferguson taking deep breaths. Tantalisingly close. Whistles from three sides of Old Trafford. Manchester United have won themselves another shot at the League Cup. They've worked their passage back to Wembley. And it's Alex Ferguson's boy wonder, Ryan Giggs, who's taken them there. Lenny Lawrence beaten by Ryan Giggs. It will be United's 5th Wembley appearance in less than 2 years. Fergie certainly has the formula for cup success. He'd give it all up for the league title, of course, but he now has another chance to do what themselves by a goal line clearance in the dying stages of normal time. Alex Ferguson sends his players out to applaud the supporters, who now begin the search for tickets. Manchester United are there by 2 goals to 1.
Yes, I think Stan Flashman might have a field day. Well, fabulous semi-final on a far from fabulous playing surface. A great credit to both teams, represented now by the 2 managers. First of all, let's hear from Middlesbrough's Lenny Lawrence.
I mean, we've played 5 First Division games now, all against teams in the top 6. Manchester City twice, Sheffield Wednesday once, and Manchester United over 2 legs, and it's taken until extra time in the 5th one for us to be defeated.
The whole night was unbelievable. It was one of the nights that we'll always remember. A great cup tie, and their support, I think, finally won it for us. They just rose to the occasion. They were the best I've ever known them, and the players did wonderfully well.
It's impossible for us to be nearer going to Wembley than we were. I mean, the players played magnificently. They battled tremendously well throughout the game. We had more than our fair share of chances.
It's quite an exciting prospect now. The last 2 months of the season are going to be something else, aren't they?
Well, they're good enough. That's the important thing.
Good enough to do everything for you.
Good enough, definitely.
Well, what a fabulous final it promises to be on April the 12th. Manchester United against Nottingham Forest for the Rumbelows League Cup at Wembley. Well, you know, United have got a month to concentrate on the Championship. The games are building up. It's going to get a bit congested for them. Mind you, if Leeds can't take full advantage, I don't suppose it'll be too bad. Gordon Strachan's penalty miss against Aston Villa cost them a couple of points last week. But they won at Spurs on Saturday. Eric Cantona setting up Gary McAllister for the coup de grace, 3-1, a good win in London then. And they were back in the capital tonight at Queen's Park Rangers, a 5-point lead if they win. The commentator is Brian Moore.
Here's Strachan. Batty's gone wide, and so too is Newsom here. Curling in a good cross and nodded down beautifully by Gary Speed. Leeds United go into the lead. Comes the corner. Forced in there by Les Ferdinand. Into Wilkins. Wilkins again. Allen's going in there. Lukic is lost for the moment. Bradley Allen. And now Rangers coming hard again. Les Ferdinand. Might come for Allen again. My goodness, that was nearly another break for him. And now Sinton with a shot! Andy Sinton! But now Leeds have more trouble at the back. That's a penalty, absolutely for sure. It's a red card for Chris White. Well, Clive Wilson scored from the spot on Saturday. He scores from the spot again.
Well, Manchester United know what it's like to be beaten 4-1 by Queen's Park Rangers, and I don't think Alex Ferguson will be too unhappy when he looks at that tonight. United still second, of course, 2 points behind, but they've now got 3 games in hand on the current leaders, Leeds United. Well, this Sunday marks the 100th anniversary of Liverpool Football Club, and certainly over the past 30 years or so, no one has ever written them off at this stage of the season, and they won't do this time. You just ask Howard Wilkinson and Alex Ferguson. At Anfield tonight, along with West Ham and a new face, was Rob McCaffrey.
Graham Souness can afford to relax a little more now his more familiar faces are returning. The face on the right you should get to know soon, Lee Jones, 18-year-old Wrexham player who tonight became a £300,000 Liverpool player.
It's the greatest feeling in the world. It's my ambition to play for a first division club, and Liverpool was the top club.
Graham, what does he possess for £300,000?
Well, he's a young man. He's got lots of potential. He's very quick. He's a goal-getter. His record suggests that. We're hoping that he's going to turn out to be like the last Welsh centre-forward we got from that part of the world.
Now, wouldn't that be a bonus? Ian Rush, of course, but it was another Welshman, Dean Saunders, who won Liverpool the game this evening. His 3rd-minute goal, his 21st of the season, the 4th season in a row, he's reached that number. Souness said afterwards West Ham deserved something from the game. They'll be wondering how they didn't get anything. The main reason, perhaps, was Bruce Grobbelaar, who really went through the full repertoire tonight to produce a series of outstanding saves. Liverpool seemed to sit back, and with West Ham playing 5 in midfield, they found space to get forward. Mike Small had 2 bites with West Ham's best chance, but sometimes the luck just won't run. Liverpool had their moments, but they were largely fleeting ones. None better, though, than Steve McManaman's solo effort, which McCloskey parried away Grobbelaar style. In the second half, it was very much a case of what you can do, I can do better. Martin Allen just has to get in his opponent's half these days to try his luck. Grobbelaar, again, his equal. John Barnes had made way for Ronnie Rosenthal in the second half, and he typically took the direct route. McCloskey had the final say, though, with a double save that kept the scoreline at 1-0, leaving Dean Saunders the match winner.
Well, I don't settle for anything less than 20. That's what my target is, and now I've got to try and get 30. And if I get 30 goals, then like the goal tonight, some of them are going to count in the games, and that means the team's going to win. So hopefully I can get off 21 as quick as possible.
I wasn't aware that was an unlucky number. Dean Saunders there, Liverpool winning tonight. Let's take a check on the other results in the First Division. Coventry City 0, Nottingham Forest 2. A David Smith own goal was the first Forest goal. And then this one by Teddy Sheringham, his 20th goal of the season. I suppose some consolation for going out of the FA Cup on Saturday. Teddy Sheringham in off the post. Forest winning at Coventry by 2-0 tonight. Luton 0, Spurs 0. No great surprise there. Norwich City 0, Chelsea 1. Chelsea's goal scorer Kerry Dixon, 84 minutes. And in the Sheffield derby, Wednesday 1, Sheffield United 2. So that's a double over Wednesday by United this season. Here are 2 of the goals from Bobby Davison, who's actually on loan from Leeds United. Has spent a period on loan with Leeds as well, with Derby as well this season, where I believe he scored 9 goals. 40,000 at Hillsborough tonight. 3-1 the final score, and Bobby Davison very much the hero for Sheffield United. And finally, in Division 1, Southampton 1, a great result for them considering what happened to West Ham at Anfield. Crystal Palace 0. Matt Letizia was the Southampton scorer, and I don't think he's eligible to play against Manchester City on the match on Sunday, suspended. Well, let's just complete the picture in the top half of the First Division, and I think basically what you could say is Liverpool are on the climb, and that defeat by Sheffield Wednesday was actually a good result for Manchester City, bearing in mind the European situation, whatever that might be. But who will go down and who will go up? The bookies stopped taking bets on Blackburn Rovers a few weeks ago. They were at home to Southend last night. Roy Wegley's home debut. Join us after the break. Well, Jack Walker's millions and Kenny Dalglish's know-how have taken Blackburn Rovers to the top of the second division, and they were really cruising it until about 2 weeks ago. But as Clive Tilsley now reports, Kenny Mania is still thriving.
A lot's been said about the money being spent by the new regime at Blackburn, little about the money being earned by them. Season tickets are sold out, souvenir shop taking is up nearly 50%, and next season there'll be a new sponsor's name on Blackburn shirts worth hundreds of thousands to the club. A year ago this week, Blackburn hosted Bristol Rovers in a second division game here. The gate that night, 5,969. Here we are, still well over an hour before kick-off, and we're already well up above 2,500. The average since the turn of the year has been 15,000. Rovers' newfound fans have been rationed to just 2 points out of 12 in the run-up to last night's game. Fifth place Southend are low-budget promotion challengers, but manager David Webb says the bigger the spender, the bigger the incentive to beat them.
And I think that is a distinct problem when you are a club like that. I mean, it's like the early days of the season when teams like Newcastle start turning out and Sunderland at grounds like Southend and Bristol Rovers and teams like, you know, who are not traditionally of late been able to play sides of such big name proportions.
Blackburn, with Colin Hendry at the sharp end of their attack, could and should have been 2 up inside 20 minutes. As it was, they were 2 down in a little over 30. Or just got a foot in, but it's broken here for Andy Ansar, and he's round Mims, and Southend take the lead, 29 minutes gone. Rovers are getting a bit edgy. They can't afford to show it because the fans will get nervous with them. Dean Austin looking for Angel, Richard Brown's lost it. Brett Angel, expertly done, 2 in 2 minutes. Brown. In again for Wegley. Beautifully done. Chris Price. Oh, they needed that. A deflected goal, but a precious goal on the stroke of half-time. Intercepted by Brown. Here's Speedy. Hendry making a good run ahead of him. Oh, he's played Roy Wegley in instead. Hit the bar. Last minute. Hendry climbing again. Speedy's in there. Just in time. David Speedy. He saved Grover's bacon. And that more direct approach from Blackburn tonight pays off with a point at the death.
We changed things about tonight, and I think we played the system quite well. As I said before, we created a lot of chances, but I felt as though I was playing with deep sea divers boots on tonight. It was a bit heavy out there and couldn't get the old legs going, but kept plugging away and got the equaliser at the death.
You're not giving yourself 10 out of 10 tonight then?
About 3.
Very modest, but he's been a terrific signing. Sure, Blackburn will go up. Tranmere, mid-table, they should be okay. But as for Port Vale, things are looking pretty bleak. 15 games without a win before tonight's visit to Derby. Dennis Coath reports.
At the baseball ground, Paul Kitson, signed from Leicester on Tuesday, lined up as a new Ram Raider against Port Vale. Derby's recent spending has soared to $4 million, but sparked a resurgence in fortunes on the field. Kitson set up Geraint Williams to skid home a 25-yarder after 2 minutes. Port Vale, on the floor of the second division, equalised 10 minutes later. An own goal really by Kavanagh, although Vale's John Jeffers is sure to claim it. 11 minutes after the break, Paul Simpson, another costly capture for Derby, scored his third in 4 matches, his 15th this season, counting his tally at Oxford. And 8 minutes later, a goal at last for Gabby. Those £1 million marksmen, Marco Gabbiadini and Paul Kitson combined, for Gabbiadini's first since his debut 8 matches ago. The Vale bar was shuttered by headers 10 minutes from time. First, Ray Walker nearly beat his own keeper. Kitson was a fraction away from a debut goal. Vale have now gone 16 games without a win. Derby up to 4th place. Derby County 3, Port Vale 1.
So while Port Vale sadly face relegation square on, Tranmere can now breathe very comfortably indeed. Johnny Morris's clever lob putting them on their way to a comfortable 3-0 win and providing them with their first away win since November. Their second was John Aldridge's 32nd. Too quick almost for our cameraman. And then, who else but Aldridge to add the third for his 33rd? On loan, Pat Nevin's cross, giving Aldridge perhaps the easiest of all the 33.
Well, that's confirmation of the other results in the second division this evening. Bristol Rovers 1, Wolves 1. Leicester City 2, without Paul Kitson, of course. Portsmouth 2, the FA Cup semi-finalists. And Oxford United 0, Watford 0. Here's the top of the second division then. Blackburn a point clear of Ipswich, but they do have a couple of games in hand, but there is a big gap, really, isn't there, between Blackburn and Cambridge, who aren't doing too well. Form's a bit iffy. Bottom of the second division, well, Port Vale rooted there, 4 points away from safety. Let's hope they all get behind John Rudge and not turn on him. Well, on to the third division. Turn up for the book on Saturday with Hull winning at Stoke, the leaders. Bury at the Victoria Ground tonight with only 1 point from their previous 5 games. Rob Palmer.
Things have cracked up a little of late in the Potteries. The Birmingham defeat and pitch invasion, humiliation at home to Hull. The life's never been easy for Lou Macari.
And we had a hiccup, we had more than a hiccup at Birmingham. We were pleased with the result, 1-1, but obviously there was other things we weren't pleased with. We went on to Hull City, and in fairness, on the day we played poorly, got punished for mistakes we made and lost the game, simple as that. Good opportunity for us to bounce back.
Stoke had Kevin Pressman on loan from Sheffield Wednesday making his debut in goal, but it was the opposite number 1 Gary Kelly who was overall the busier. Roger Stanislaus also using his hands, but not intentionally. Stoke attacked at almost all costs and it backfired. Ian Stevens had his shooting boots on, his 15th of the season. His 16th was almost identical. Cruel for Stoke that it went in off the post. But Paul Barnes used the woodwork to his advantage for a City consolation. The night belonged, though, to Maltese-born Paul Stevens.
I was born in Malta, and someone asked me where I'd play for him, and I said, yeah, I would, like, but I can't see it, like, it's a long way from Malta. I can't see him sending anyone over here just to watch me, so I can't see it.
I take it you'd like to play for Malta,
Yeah,
if they did come in.
Yeah, I won't mind. It's a hot country and that.
Yeah, hot stuff as well. Here's the other result in Division 3. West Brom 1, Hartlepool 2. A bit of a shock, that one. So let's take a check then on the top of Division 3. Stoke still lead the way despite losing. Brentford in second place, West Brom third, and Stockport, they're in the frame in the playoff zone, lying sixth. So really not too bad at the top of the third, but not too good at the bottom. We've got 4 clubs in the dropping zone. First up, Chester, football's equivalent of home and away. Alistair Mann reports from Macclesfield.
This was not the celebration of a winning goal in a cup final, but it certainly felt like it to Chester's Gary Bennett. His was the goal that ensured victory on Saturday over Bury. Another impressive result during a run which has seen Chester go from dead and buried to alive and kicking. The run has coincided with the development of City's new stadium, near to the site of the old Sealand Road ground. It's certainly been a team on the up, and in more ways than in one.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, we're all excited. It's great for all of us, and it's lovely as well for the fans. It really is to actually see us going back into Chester. From my point of view, it's starting with a blank sheet of paper, and we're actually saying, right, we've got a new stadium, new season, back in Chester.
There have been no personnel changes, so was it simply the chance of a fresh start that provided the incentive?
Well, it's one of those things that aren't really tangible, but deep down it's got to be a factor, because we have got an enormous carrot, if you like, dangling in front of us to be in a new stadium and still in the 3rd division. Now that is an enormous incentive for us.
It was certainly the ultimate test for improving Chester's optimistic new mood. Visitors Peterborough are the informed side in the Football League with 7 straight victories. Neither side had gained an initiative when Barry Butler provided the emphatic touch in an indecisive box. It came just a few minutes from half-time, but a rather casual throw-in from, of all people, Arthur Albiston proved a costly mistake. Tony Adcock broke clear and timed his pass just right for Gary Cooper to put Peterborough level and deny Chester a crucial half-time lead. More crucial was the rush of blood to the head of Graham Abel, which resulted in a penalty award for handball. It seems an obvious handball to spot, but a less obvious explanation as to what was going through his mind. If there was any doubt about the penalty, there was certainly no doubt in the mind of Gary Cooper, and Peterborough were 2-1 up. In truth, it came at a time when the visitors were well on top, and with the 3rd goal arriving just 2 minutes later, Chester's hopes were gone when Adcock's predatory instincts pounced. His arrival from Northampton Town recently has coincided with Peterborough's charge. He arrived in the same deal as Bobby Barnes. Good business by anyone's standards when Barnes can provide goals like this one. Chester did add a penalty late on, but it was no more than a consolation, so attentions were then switched to the other relegation candidates. 2 of those sides, Wigan and Preston, met at Springfield Park, where Wigan completely ran the show. Gary Worthington was the showstopper with 2 wonderful goals. This one after 28 minutes, and the next on the hour. A left-foot volley from Worthington out of you-know-who's book of spectacular goals. Wigan hit the woodwork twice and had 2 more efforts cleared off the line, but it was just a Phil Daly header to add for a 3-0 win.
Definitely stay up. We're far too good to go down. We've virtually got our strongest team out now, and I think we'll just go from strength to strength.
Meanwhile, Preston's fans vented their anger, as doubtless did manager Les Chapman to his players.
Very disappointed, really, with the performance as well as the result. We played against Brentford on Saturday, and it was a great performance and a great result, and tonight it looked a totally different team. We looked like 11 strangers.
To Saturday, it's against Preston, who didn't do themselves any favours either tonight. That's a heck of a crucial game, isn't it?
Well, they all are for us now. The ones around us like that, it won't be easy there on the plastic pitch, but it doesn't matter to us. I mean, we have no excuse for going to play on the plastic pitch because we haven't played consistently well on grass pitches all season.
Well, they haven't got plenty of money down there, but they do have plenty of spirit. So it's Preston and Chester in the bottom four, Bury just above them after that great win at Stoke tonight, and Wigan, as they're pulling a little bit clear under Dave Philpotts, their new manager, who took over from Brian Hamilton. Well, due to the tragic accident at Turf Moor this week, the 4th Division leaders Burnley didn't play last night at York as a mark of respect to the teenager who died. Chances then for Blackpool to go back on top. In fact, a perfect opportunity against the bottom club Aldershot, who don't even get paid for what they do.
Blackpool could be the final destination in 66 years of Aldershot Football Club. The players arrived at Bloomfield Road last night, knowing the High Court is likely to wind up the business in 7 days' time. In recent weeks, the bucket has been passed around to pay for the travel expenses of the bottom of the league side. The Blackpool boss, Billy Ayres, only concern these days is getting his team promoted, but he's been through it in his Halifax days.
There was one instance where we were training and one of the lads ran down the tunnel to tell me that someone was stealing my car. So I left the training ground, ran straight down, got a hold of him, and only to find out that he was repossessing it.
The Aldershot player-manager Ian MacDonald's former teams include Workington, Colchester and Barrow, none of whom are left in the league now.
You could possibly say, yes, I have been at 3 clubs who aren't in the league at the moment, and nowhere do I want to make Aldershot the 4th.
The dedication of the manager is only matched by the dozen or so fans who made the trip to the seaside.
The supporters are putting money in the buckets, the supporters club's putting money in the vice presidents club's putting money in, everyone is trying to help out in any way they can.
And we're always put a couple of quid in the bucket, keep the club going.
It was a game which didn't live up to either team's reputation. Blackpool with the best home goal scoring record. The shots were the worst away from home. Even 31-goal Dave Bamber didn't get a header or shot on target. The best chances fell to David Ayres, who was thwarted many times by goalkeeper Steve Osgood. Substitute Trevor Sinclair's inventiveness was responsible for the win. Tricky Trevor, the provider for David Ayres. An inspirational substitution, and Ayres the saving grace. Captain Paul Groves almost added a second, but again, Big Oz was good. £800 was raised by the charitable Blackpool fans, but how much goes to the goalkeeper?
I think I only played for a couple of points. that's more wages.
Do you want to look happy? No, I wasn't happy with the performance at all. We need to improve drastically on that. The plus is, the result takes us back to the top, and that's a fact. We've extended our unbeaten run in the league now to 12. That's a fact, and that's what we build on.
Rochdale leapfrogged over Scunthorpe into 8th place. Simple football, the order of the day. Alan Reeves searching for Andy Milner, who found his 14th goal of the season. On the hour it was 2-0, Steve Whitehall chasing, crossing the ball, Steve Lister's own goal, Rochdale still in the promotion pack.
I think we've got one of the best defensive records in terms of games lost. You know, we're not giving goals away, and if we're not winning, we're drawing, which is good for promotion.
Right, we'll hear the results in Division 4 tonight. Halifax 0, Hereford 2, Lincoln 1, Walsall 0. Maidstone 2, Crewe 0. Only one defeat in their previous 10 for Crewe, so they'll be disappointed with that. Liebert, Henry and Robbie Payne to the Maidstone scorers. Blackburn then leading the way with Burnley just 1 point behind them, but with 2 games to play. Crewe in 7th place, Rochdale in 8th. Right, coming up, Granada Goals Extra, of course, on Saturday. And the match on Sunday is Manchester City against Southampton, live from Main Road at 3:20. And so important for both sides, Manchester City with Europe in mind and Southampton with survival very much in mind. Well, we've had a good night, haven't we? A great return for Granada Soccer Night, some great goals, 2 great moustaches, Billy Ayre and Harry McNally. And well done, Man United, there at Wembley. Bye-bye.
Soccer Night is sponsored by Rumbelow, supporting the best in British football.